Hello, and thank you everybody for watching another edition of Ask Ron, where Ron answers our Gold Club members' questions each and every week. My name is Jessie, and I have Ron here ready to answer your questions. How you doing today, Ron?
Outstanding.
Good to hear it.
Little voice problems, but I think I'll come out okay.
We always do.
Yeah.
All right, first up, we missed them last week. We have Tony and Angie Stewart in Ohio.
Okay.
Their question.
They've always got some good ones.
They sure do. Ron, as we head into the holiday season, I have noticed some internal hesitation about taking on properties that might have a longer holding period, especially with the colder winter months approaching here in Ohio, the shifting market conditions, and the general slowdown that tends to happen around the holidays. His question is, are there any additional strategies you recommend to protect ourselves when there are these factors, like weather, market changes, and seasonal timing?
You know, guys, I'm sitting here thinking about that question, which is a good one, by the way. And my advice is contrary to what you think it'll be. This is the time to ramp up your marketing because all your competition's ramping it down because they feel the same way. I have sold and bought houses on Christmas Eve, okay? People always have to have a place to live. And when they're in the hunting mood, Christmas is not going to stop them from buying. It's not going to stop them from selling. Besides, Christmas is only a few days out of the entire month of December. So don't assume that that's a good reason to go slack. And the snow, I mean, unless you have a blizzard or something, that doesn't affect anybody's decision either. You live in Columbus, they always have snow there. Remember, I used to live in Springfield myself. So you shut down the buying machine and you're going to take a while to get you cranked back up. So I wouldn't do anything different. Just keep generating leads and following up, and you mark my words, you'll get some deals in December if you do just that, if you got leads coming across your desk and you properly handle them.
Thank you, Ron. Next up, we have Evgenii in Nevada. His question, it is typically suggested that we start with local market. How can I apply the pretty house method in a county in California with median house price of almost $2 million and with rents on 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom houses between $4,000 and $6,000 depending on the specific area and schools?
Well, those are not the houses that you want to put into your pretty house portfolio, so you're going to have to get outside of that area. I just did a seminar for Californians in California, and I went around, he didn't say where he was in California, did he? Probably San Francisco area. What I did was I asked Siri, what's the median price home in all the surrounding burgs around LA proper? Like in LA, it was $960,000. Around LA, there was literally areas where median price home was $200,000, $250,000, much to my surprise, okay? So you're probably going to have to get out of where your 2 million mark is, because that's not a very big area of the country. And that's an extremely high median price. In fact, I doubt that is the median price. You might want to ask Siri that as well. What's a median price house where you live? And it's just bigger numbers. They can be in your favor because that means bigger profits, bigger spreads, bigger monthly cash flow, if applicable. You take a $2 million house though, $4,000 or $5,000 a month is not going to cut the mustard on that one. I don't even have to do the math to tell you that won't be enough. So you got to get out of where the punishing areas are. However, that don't stop you from lease optioning houses and putting them out back on the market on a lease option. And that means you don't have any closing costs to buy it because you're not buying it, and you're just going to get paid for whatever you mark it up when that tenant buyer buys. And it also gives you the opportunity to assign the lease option from the buyer to you to the seller and let them take over from there and get out, and you just make the money in between. So you can assign lease options just like you're going to sign contracts on junkers. So don't take your high-end market to look for an excuse not to do anything. Just figure out what works in that high-end market and eliminating your risk. So that's the only thing I can think of to tell you right now.
All right, next up we have Phil and Cindy from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They say, we are building an all-cash buyers list for our wholesale deals.
Mm-hmm.
We intend to get 3 to 5 good quality, active, seasoned buyers who won't waste our time.
Right.
And who can rely on for these deals that we can call on for a quick closing. So besides bandit signs and online ads, where do you find them?
Well, you usually find your buyers when you're advertising a house for sale. And screening them is pretty easy. The thing, when we do it, we make sure that they've seen the house before we'll accept any offer from them, because you're going to tighten that thing up. That ain't going to work.
Next up, we have Phil and Cindy Salazar from Texas. They say, we are building an all-cash buyers list for our wholesale deals. We intend to get 3 to 5 good quality, active seasoned buyers who won't waste our time and who we can rely on for deals that we can get a quick call for closing. Besides bandit signs and online ads, where can you find them?
Well, I'll tell you what I do, guys. You're not going to find them unless you got a house that you're trying to sell. That's when they're going to contact you, and that don't cost you anything. And even if you don't have a house, just put one online on Facebook Marketplace and Zillow and Craigslist or wherever. And then when they call, say, well, look, that one's gone, but let me get you some information from you and I'll put you on my list for the next one. And what qualifies them is, number one, don't let anybody send you an offer on a house unless you know that they've been through the house. Because if they haven't, they're just wasting your time. They go out and look at the house and cancel it. Number two, just ask them, are you ready to close, and how long will it take you to close, and how many dollars can you spend on a house you're looking to renovate, and that'll get them on your buyers list. So make up a house and put them on there for sale, and just tell them it's gone, it's sold, and you got it. Let me put you on a buyers list. Don't go running ads or anything like that. You don't need to. They'll come to you when you run an ad on a house. May not come to you when you run an ad that says I'm looking for wholesale buyers. Besides, you don't need to waste the money.
Gotcha. Next up, we have Brian Lucy from Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
He says, when you're doing comps for a property and it's a duplex, can you compare that with a triplex or a quadplex? If that's not the best way to find carbs for them or comps for them, if there are none other available.
Well, you can compare them to a triplex and a quad, but not a single family house. So you just adjust accordingly. It really comes down to square feet. How many square feet is the duplex? How many square feet is the quadruplex? And your appraisers might make an adjustment on there because there's more income in the quadruplex. And I assume you can find them for sale. Now, I wouldn't compare that to a townhouse. A townhouse, they actually transfer and title to it. These are rental properties, and it's going to be based on dollars per square foot, whatever they compare it to. And probably they won't even take the income in consideration on a unit that small. So, if you can't figure it out, you can always get a realtor to go out and take a look at the project and find out what they would sell it for if you put it in their hands to sell it, and let them do the comps. And of course, I guess that's after you got it under contract, though. So you just have to do the best you can. It ain't going to be as much per square foot as a house is of the same size building. So you might just have to adjust down, but it'd be nice if you did find a duplex or a quadruplex duplex or triplex to compare it to. And then that's dollars per square foot.
Gotcha. Next up, we have Sylvie from Maryland. And she would like to know what your thoughts are on the new federal rule, which is the the residential real estate rule from the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, formerly known as the FinCEN, that will require reporting of certain non-finance residential real estate transfers.
I got it. First of all, I believe I was told that they did away with that rule when Trump got in, so you might want to check that out. And I don't know, you might be referring to the one where you have to report the owners of all your LLCs to the government. They killed that last December. Other than that, I'm not sure if there's another rule that you're referring to that I'm not familiar with, but FinCEN is what they called that rule back then. And I sent all mine in just a few days before they whacked the deal. So I don't care. It doesn't matter to me if the government knows who owns the LLCs anyway, because it ain't about that. It's about making sure predators can't come and get your assets even though they know you got them. And in today's world, they're going to know you got them. It ain't going to take them long to find out with AI and the other sources that are out there today. So I teach you how to do that. I'm sure you've probably seen it. If you haven't, there's a lesson on the Go Club site under training. It's called 4 LLCs. If you haven't seen that, it would pay you to bring that down and watch it when it comes to asset protection and entity structure and tax reduction. Pretty much all covered on that one lesson. That includes your IRA, your solo 401k, and my cool one house to three house 1031 exchange. So all of you listeners should go take a look at that if you haven't already. You'll learn a ton.
Gotcha. And I'll drop that lesson down below too, so you guys can check it out.
Oh, that's nice.
All right, next up we have Brad Keating. He's got 3 questions. We'll start with the first one. Who pays the ongoing property taxes on a pretty house deal?
Whoever owns the property. However, you put a tenant buyer in the house, the tenant is paying rent. Okay, the owner of that property is responsible for the taxes, but it's usually escrowed in the underlying loan anyway, which their payment covers. So it's usually not a problem. But it's always the owner of the property pays the taxes. Tenants don't pay anything but rent.
Gotcha. His second question, he says, I have a question about bank accounts. On pretty house deals, you refer to one house per land trust.
Right?
Is the land trust required to have a separate bank account?
No. Land trusts do not have bank accounts. They do not have EIN numbers. They're not registered with the government. There's no annual fee, and there's no tax return on a land trust, which is why they're so simple to use. But usually I'd like to see your LLC own however many land trusts that you have, one house per trust. And then the LLC is filing it. The LLCs don't file tax returns. I mean, they file tax returns, but they don't pay taxes. All the gain flows through to the owners of the LLC in a proportionate share that they own it. And of course, if you're a married couple, then and just you two own it, then all the gain or loss is going to flow through to your personal 1040 tax return.
Gotcha. And with that same question, he goes on to say, I'm trying to understand the money flow on a wraparound mortgage. Should the payment be made to the seller's bank from the land trust bank account?
Okay, land trusts don't have a bank account, so your payment will be made from the LLC that owns the land trust, because that's where the money's coming in and going out. It pays all the bills on the housing. When you go look at the 4 LLC lessons, that will be LLC C, as in Charlie. Money flows through it. Again, money cannot flow through a land trust because the land trust don't even have a bank account, nor is it required to. And by the way, there's no tax consequences of having a land trust, period. Government could care less how you own it. They just care where you take the money in and spend it back in what you report. So the LLC gets the money, pays the payments, pays all the payments underneath. And in my case, my LLC sends the lender bank the money. I do not send any money to the sellers unless it's a free and clear deal and there is no underlying bank. And I got no place to send it but to the sellers. But then I don't have to count on them making the payment. So we send it directly to the bank with their loan number on it. Make sure it doesn't get mixed up with other stuff, and possibly even their names on it, and definitely their loan number. And of course, you can get all that information from them when you buy the house. They've got that information. The bank communicates with them regularly, and it's not a hard thing to do. But you've got to program your seller to anything they get from the bank. Make sure they send it to you, unless it's some kind of advertisement or something. Anything having to do with that loan, program them to send it to you, and they will. It's in their best interest to do so if they want the payment made on their underlying loan.
Gotcha. And with that great answer, you may have already answered this third part of the question. A second question would be, if I find a tenant buyer for the same property, how would I handle their funds?
I just answered that. They'll pay your LLC rent. They don't pay the land trust, they pay your LLC. I don't care if the land trust is on your lease option, you just give them instructions, here, I want you to pay it to this LLC in writing. And they don't care where they send it, as long as you okayed it. It's really that simple. So now the money's in the LLC and there's what you make your payments out of.
Gotcha. And our last question for this week is from Lucky Luck, North Carolina. He's actually looking at a deal and would like your advice on it. It's a nice house in Wake Forest, north suburb of Raleigh. Seller is okay to sell for what he owes, which is $315K.
All right.
The motivation is he moved out to a new home with 2 mortgages, listed for $349,900. He can take it down. He's negotiable.
So you can stop the listing.
Yep. The ARV is $330. PITI $260 plus $37 of HOA.
2,600, you mean?
Yeah, $2,600.
Okay, plus how many?
37 on HOA.
$37 a month? Okay. So he's got a $2,600 payment on a $350,000 house, right?
Yes.
That's a little steep. That's a little steep. Now, I've already answered this question before, Lucky, but Lucky, and on that one, I would put it under a lease option contract. That's one of them deals where you tell the seller, I need this for 90 days. No, I'm going to take it to my list, and I'm going to take it to the market, and I'm going to see if I can get somebody in here that I like and that will someday, in a not too distant future, cash you out. So if the seller will let you do that, frankly, they don't have a lot of choice if they're moving, because they don't have enough equity in it to even pay a realtor. They're going to be bringing a big check to closing. So you got a little bit of equity there that gives you the right to mark it up. So, you're getting it for whatever, it's $20,000, $30,000 less than what you think the ARV is. So you got some room there to get your front end payday, but you don't have any room to get any monthly cash flow, that's for sure. So even if you're a little bit negative, that's better than having to pay the whole $2,600. So you'll have to pass that on to the seller as well. But anyway, you've got nothing to lose by going in and putting down a contract to lease purchase it, check the title, and get it out on the market. But you didn't tell me whether the house is vacant or occupied. The problem with it being occupied now is you're going to have a hard time getting people in and out, and just makes a mess out of it. You have to make an appointment, you have to call the seller, and all of that. Much easier when it's vacant and you have a knock box on the house to let people in. But I have done it when they're occupied. So really, you got nothing to lose. You'll learn a lot in the process.
All right. Well, I think that answers all of our questions for this week, Ron.
That's all.
That is all the questions we have.
Guys, I'll see you next week. We're coming up on Thanksgiving, so have a happy Thanksgiving if I don't see you before. And if you guys aren't watching my podcast, it's thementorpodcast.com. Get on it. It's free. Every Wednesday we air it, and it's archived right on the site when you get on and sign up. I can go back, and I interview some pretty cool people on that thing. So worth your while to go check it all out. So anyway, we're continuing doing what we do. Christmas is coming up pretty soon. It'd be nice if you get in here and get this thing cranked up before the beginning of next year, so we get you off to a jump start for 2026. So I'll see you next week.